So if we take the word sin, often the connotation that we have to this word is good or bad, it's judgment. But actually, if you look at the root word at the root meaning of the word sin, it means to miss the mark. So what is the mark? Well, the mark is what you're aiming for. But let's just think about this for a moment, because there's what the ego is aiming for. Our ego mind wants to control life, wants to take comfort and certainty in external circumstances and material possessions and so on. And there is our divine purpose. And so I would say that the mark in capitals is following our divine path, our purposeful path. So it's important then to explore and investigate and search and get to know ourselves and get to know our strengths and get to clarify more and more and more what our purpose is. And it's an unfolding thing. So I think it's not a case of going, oh, there's my purpose. I think our concept and our understanding of our purpose clarifies and unfolds as we go. And I think it's guided by enthusiasm, and enthusiasm flows from inspiration. So enthusiasm is that state of energy and expansiveness. Inspiration is the state of absolute certainty, absolute knowing, absolute clarity. And so if we are following our enthusiasm, what are you enthusiastic about? Okay, not excited about, that's an emotion. Enthusiastic about. Where does your energy feel expansive? Where does your energy surge? I would say that's a good indicator of enthusiasm. All right, so if we've got an idea of our purpose and we are using enthusiasm to guide us on that path, that becomes our beacon, that's great. Now let's look at distraction. Because if sin is missing the mark, and the mark is our divine purpose, then anything that distracts our attention away from acting on our enthusiasm is leading us into sin. So attention is an interesting concept for me, because the more I think about it, the more I realize that attention is our point of personal power, where it's the what we place our attention on is the point at which our consciousness interacts with the energy of matter, or the energy of matter, right? If you look at quantum physics, when consciousness interacts with the energy of matter, it collapses the sine wave and it materializes. We bring something into manifestation. So we don't create our life, we co-create our life, which means that we can't control our situations and circumstances and anything outside of ourselves, but we definitely can control how we show up, what energy we're showing up with, and how we participate with life. And that's the co-creation. So when that is guided, when our participation with life is guided by enthusiasm and inspiration, then what we are doing is on the path of our purpose, our divine purpose. But when our attention gets distracted, and if you think about it, there's so many distractions in our world. There's so much noise going on around us, noise in inverted commas. Social media, advertising, messages, communication, busyness. Busyness is a big one. Because with busyness, we lose clarity. And when we lose clarity, we're not tuned into that inspiration and enthusiasm. And so our attention then gets hijacked and starts co-creating away from our purposeful path. So think about how important this is. If your attention is your point of co-creation, that's your power. That's your power to participate in life. That's valuable. What are you allowing to hijack that? Like, are you allowing something or someone else to hijack your attention and use your personal power, your consciousness to interact with life in a way that perhaps suits them and not you? Something to think about. I always find this whole concept very, very interesting. So when we are acting in our purpose, we are operating towards our divinely inspired path. And when we are doing anything that deviates off that path, we are starting to operate out of sin. Sin not being judgment, but sin being to miss the mark.